My name is Justice.
My name is Dion. I'm with the Seattle Saracens.
And I am here to ask him questions. Okay, I'm going to start right now. Briefly describe your high school athletic experience.
So as far as high school, I wrestled throughout most of high school, so all 4 years actually. Played a little bit of football for 2 years, my sophomore and junior year, but wasn't really that into it, so it was mostly just wrestling for me.
Oh, when did you start playing rugby, your first memory?
I started playing rugby my junior year of college, so I've been playing for about 4.5 years now. My first memory is probably my first match of rugby, actually. My first actual match that I played. It was towards the end of the match. I made a break on the wing, made a break and ended up scoring a try. And right immediately afterwards, I threw up on the side of the field. Probably mostly from me not being fit, but also just from like being nervous and happy that I scored my first try. But that's definitely the very first moment that I remember from me playing rugby.
What other sports skills did you play that prepared you for rugby?
So like I said, I wrestled all throughout high school, and I wrestled for a couple years in college. And a lot of those skills have transferred over to me. Probably the biggest would be the mental toughness. In wrestling, we do crazy workouts, at 5 a.m., things like that, where you get past that point of exhaustion and you have to keep pushing. That's probably the biggest thing, just going to those dark places and being able to still perform at a high level. That on top of that, my low center of gravity helps me with breaking tackles and tackling people, and then just tackling in general. In wrestling, sometimes one of the moves is essentially tackling someone. So that's helped transfer over to rugby for me.
Why do you like playing such a physical sport?
Like I said, being in wrestling is full contact. Probably what I loved most about wrestling was being able to inflict my will upon the other person in front of me, and being able to do that in rugby as well. Most of the time I'm running, there's another guy in front of me. I'm either gonna use my speed to go around you, or I'm gonna use my strength.
What are some of the benefits you've experienced from playing rugby on and off the pitch?
On and off. Rugby has given me a lot of opportunities as far as like traveling. I've met a lot of people through rugby. My favorite moment was being able to play with the Fijian national team and some Olympic gold medalists this past August. That's definitely the best thing that's happened. It was over in Denver. I've also been able to travel to like Hawaii, different parts around the state. Probably it's mostly just like being able to travel and still play rugby, gain essentially like extended family in different parts of the country and different parts of the world.
That is apparently it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Justice.
And I'm Sadie Houston with the Seattle Saracens Women's Premier League.
And we are here to interview Sadie on a rugby interview. First question, briefly describe your high school athletic experience.
In high school, I did a little bit of everything. Some cheerleading, track, and basketball were primary things that I tried. And then softball, of course, but I was not very interested. The sport was kind of slow for me. But as far as those three sports went, super competitive person, so I would say like my experiences as far as athletics went, just wild.
Second question, when did you start playing rugby? Your first memory?
I started my freshman year of college. They did not have a rugby team in my small high school, so started freshman year of college at the University of Oklahoma, and then my first memory, wow, that's probably going to be it's going to be just a memory on the pitch as far as practice goes. So I did come from basketball. When I was playing basketball, you can't dribble, or you can't just walk with the ball without dribbling. So when I first got a rugby ball in my hand, I was like, I cannot dribble this ball. How am I going to do it? It's gameplay. And I just start pivoting in the middle of the pitch with the rugby ball, just pivoting all over the place. And I was like, oh, this is horrible. Like, I cannot play rugby, but it turns out I could.
What other sports skills did you play that prepared you for rugby?
I think all three of the sports that I played in high school really prepared me for rugby as far as leadership goes. Basketball was more of the physicality part of it, whereas track was more of an individual play. So I think individually, track prepared me for being that leader on the team, that when I have the ball in my possession, I have to actually make change it, or I have to make plays, and I'm in possession, so it's up to me at that point. And then I think basketball really just made it where you're playing with a team, but at the same time, ball's in your hand, you know what I mean? So teamwork and leadership.
Why do you like playing such a physical sport?
I think rugby for me is, it keeps me sane for the most part. So as a law student and playing rugby at the same time, it really does relieve a lot of stress for me. Also in basketball, I was that player who basically fouled out every game because it was not aggressive enough. So rugby is probably the pure minimum for me.
What are some of the benefits you've experienced from playing rugby on and off the pitch?
On and off the pitch, those experiences, mainly having a family on and off the pitch for me, connection-wise was really big for me. At the University of Oklahoma, after I met my coach, she offered me a job in her office, and then that just kind of set the tone for me in my rugby career. But there's nothing like the leadership and the roles and the family that you gain through all individuals on a team doesn't compare to rugby as far as what I've experienced so far.
Okay, that's apparently it for the interview. Thank you, Sally.
Thank you, Jess.